everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tube, or welcome back if this is your second Season 3 episode review for ABC's The Rookie. Oh my god, it's so great to be back to the Word of the Rookie. It's great to be back on like having a new episode every Sunday night. It's just a great feeling to have, and also to be back with all of you. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything's going great in your lives, even despite what happened last week with the whole Capitol Siege. But enough about that. Let's get back to The Rookie, which I think I mentioned this in the last review, but so the last episode of The Rookie was meant to kind of service as a conclusion to what we were setting up in Season 2. This is morely setting up stuff for Season 3. And here's the thing. I didn't want to mention this in the Season 3 premiere review because I want the focus to be on the Armstrong matter, and as well as finishing up everything that they were trying to finish up in the last season of The Rookie. Now going into this one, it's more imperative than ever that The Rookie Season 3, yeah, I'm saying that right. The whole matter for Season 3, the whole, I think I believe the theme throughout Season 3 is going to be, they're going to focus more on, because since we've been off the air, well, both in terms of The Rookie and us covering The Rookie stuff, there have been the Black Lives Matter movement, there has been the police protests, the police defund the police movement, and a bunch of other stuff that's basically now we're more focused than ever now on the commentary of what the whole matter of, like, it's weird for me to say because I never really talk about this, and maybe I'm part of the problem too, and of course obviously I'm not going to get too social commentary into this in terms of me as me in the real world, because this is just, we're reviewing a TV show here. But the thing I'm going to give The Rookie so much credit for is that they're actually taking the time to address the issue at hand, and I'm going to give them so much credit because I remember I watched an interview with the cast and crew before we in December. Dealing with the Season 3 topics and what direction they're going to handle. They're actually dedicating a good chunk to Season 3 on this matter. So whatever they had planned, I mean, hopefully they'll insert that in, and maybe they're going to push it back to later on. I don't know. But I feel it's so great for them to be tackling this. Because I believe it's the first... here's the thing. Again, remember, as you all know, I am not a big fan of procedural. I'm not watching any other cop shows right now, so I have no idea if they're even tackling this issue. Because obviously, of course, we're also in a pandemic, so there's a lot of other things to be focusing about. But I'm giving The Rookie so much credit for tackling this topic and addressing it in a matter that, like, these characters would be dealing with, as well as, hey, yeah, this is an issue, and these are actual people, these are actual, like, writers talking about this, and it's like, hey, this is an issue, we need to address this, and as well as just giving another perspective of things, considering the fact that, at least for me, as a citizen of America, I view things through the media, through Twitter, through conversations with my friends. That's how I'm seeing things play out, and anything that's released via video or audio or photograph, stuff like that. And of course, obviously, if some of you know this or if you don't, I am a criminal justice major. Or at least I was. But I'm also aware on the other side of things. And we have been taught this before in some of my classes when I was in university. We talked about this before, that, the thing is that it's so difficult to talk about that. Maybe I'll do a Let You talk about this at some point down the road if you don't know what that is. It's another show I do on ActionX. I might tackle this topic up at some point in the future so I can go more into depth on that. But because we're eventually going to go back to Rookie, don't worry about it. But just to kind of wrap up the point, I'm so incredibly proud that The Rookie is actually going to be focusing time to handle this matter. So anyway, with that being said, let's get down to it. Basic boil down approach. I really enjoyed this episode. I feel like this is definitely the start of hopefully a long season story of, The Rookie, of like The Rookie, our fellow rookies, and of course obviously the LAPD, this specific LAPD station, on them now tackling on this issue at the forefront of, being there for the community, but also tackling on, there's going to be some trust issues the community's going to have with the police specifically. We saw in this episode kind of like things are starting to change, at least in this aspect. There's still a much larger picture, which definitely they made so many great analogies in this episode. But and obviously we also have to get to do some of the other storylines that doesn't necessarily tackle what the kind of the majority is focusing on this week, or hopefully for this season. So anyway, with that being said, let's get down to it. I really enjoyed this episode. Brandon Routh came on. He has joined the world of the Rookie, and I am extremely happy to continue to see Brandon Routh on TV, on my TV specifically, since, if you don't know, I have been watching Brandon Routh since Arrow Season 3. And he's been on Arrow, on Legends, he's been on the crossover, so I've been used to seeing Brandon Routh on my TV. And I'm going to say this, hands down, bravo, you did a great job in your performance. I really hope you continue to deliver. So I can't wait to see how, considering the promo for next week kind of is going to be a little bit more, that's going to be a little bit of like, we'll see how that goes. But that's next week's review. Let's get down here. Let's go for the Butchered recap, and let's talk about it. So we began comedically kind of like just resolving in sort of like, hey, we're going to move on from Armstrong. We're going to like kind of move on from everything that happened in season 2 with Nolan, West, and Chen. They're at Nolan's house, kind of patching the place up post the whole mayhem of the last few episodes. So they're patching things up. It's kind of, Chen is kind of cleansing the house of bad aura, juju. I don't know. They're cleansing the house. It's fine. It's again. This is like, finally we're just having jokes again. And I love it because, like, obviously, of course, we're going to have those dire moments. And believe me, I love those dire moments considering the suspense and what's going to happen next. I love those moments, but also I just love seeing our fellow rookies just, like, having fun. They're just, like, chilling. And that's what I love about it. But to make things a little bit more, we'll kind of to branch off Shen's storyline for the episode. They're about to go and pick up some paint to kind of just finish off getting Nolan's house back to normal. And her car is stolen. And of course, the number one thing that you need to ask, did you at least lock your car? And Chen says no. And I'm like, oh my god, this is just too funny. Oh, I miss this so much. Oh yeah, also they did mention in the beginning that things are changing with the department. Gray said that last week, that things would be different from going forward. And apparently they transferred a bunch of people. Obviously, that's kind of like a code word for like, we need to reduce the amount of people we have on set because obviously there's a pandemic. And honestly, it's a smart way. Like, yeah, they're trying to like, I think the story excuse is that they're trying to get their good cops out there to kind of like help other stations out and kind of like influence them. But again, it's the simple factor of like, we need to reduce the cast or the background characters so that we have the safety of like, hey, COVID is not going to really dampen everything. And it makes sense from a story perspective. So we cut to the next day. It turns out they're having their the meetings, the morning meetings, not in the usual bullpen, which I'm very sad to sad to see. But again, COVID related. The bullpen is a very enclosed space, and you have a lot of people and crew members. So again, story reasons, they're just need to be out in the open. So they're there. It's a bunch of new faces. Gray's basically having all the cops read the new rules of the station, which is, I think from what I remember, you can't buy a phone without giving the department the number. Any copies or requests you make in terms of police official reports or anything related to documents, they have to be immediately shredded, burned. They have to be destroyed, kind of like how Marvel makes Tom Holland burn all the scripts before, after he reads them, because you can't trust Tom Holland for shit. No offense, man. I love you, man. You're a great Spider-Man, but like, dude, you can't be trusted with a script. No offense. So they're doing all that, and of course, Gray's pointing out, like, we got a bunch of new faces around here because, the transfers. That's how it works. And and of course, obviously, the front runner of the new faces is joining the rookie world is the one and only Brandon Routh as Doug, Officer Doug. I think his last name is Scranton or Scanton. I forgot. I mean, it's an achievement that I'm remembering his first name on the first episode he's premiered. So, A, my memory is improving, and B, it's Brandon Routh, so I'm making the exception. So I'm going to call him Officer Doug, or just Doug for short. So he's there, he's new, he's taking over for Wes's remaining rookie training for the last 25 days because, as many of you know, Lopez has been transferred. She's a detective now. And Lopez's storyline is basically the only thing that's not dealing with current society issues. And I know I shouldn't phrase it like that, but I'm just saying in the matter of, hey, this is the issue. We you know, obviously we can't just have all the storylines converge. We gotta, like, Lopez is off doing her own thing, which I'll get to in a second. So, yeah, so Doug is Wes's new TO, even for the last 25 days, and we got a scene with them. Doug's basically just pointing out, hey, listen, I know you're at the end of your rookie cycle. I've read the notes. I've read everything about you. You're basically ready to go solo, but it's just a formality thing, so just consider us partners. No TO, no rookie BS. Just, we're partners for the last month. Let's do it. So, yeah, so that's kind of how they're setting up their dynamic, which I honestly respect. And it's like, for me, it's like, if I had not watched the interviews and I had not watched the trailers and, like, seeing what the direction they were going to put Doug's character in, especially with this episode and what we're going to see in the later episodes, I wouldn't have known that he was going to approach things in a certain way. If I'm jumping ahead a little bit, I'm not trying to, like, we'll get there when we get there, but I was not expecting that change had I not known about what was going to happen. And I guess it's another analogy of, like, you don't really know someone by first impressions. You don't really know someone until you, like, really get to know them and you really get to see them in action. So, kudos for them. I'm setting that up. It's not to me like, here's his tone, here's his demeanor. We're gonna get there. So now here's our usual. Haven't done this in a while. We're splitting off into the storylines. I think this week we have 4. Yeah, we have 4 storylines this week. So I'm like, damn, this is the most we've ever gotten on the show. I think so far. I haven't watched Rookie since, well, besides last week, I haven't watched it since May. And I haven't remembered what the hell we reviewed back in season 2. So I apologize if we did have more storylines. I'm just forgetting, since usually it would be the 3 rookies on their own storylines with their TOs. And then now that Lopez is off on her own, now we got a 4th. So we're going to get Lopez out of the way, since, no offense to Lopez, I mean, don't get me wrong, she's going to have a big focus this season. Like, they're setting her up for, you know, some big developments. But in terms of, like, the theme for this week, I kind of want to get to that, you know, get more deeper into that. So with Lopez, she's about to start being a detective. She's at her house with Wesley, again, promoted to main cast, considering the fact that they're putting him in a lot of more scenes. So I'm like, yeah, he's a main cast member, which I'm like, thank you. So she's getting her clothes picked out for her first day, but since being pregnant means your bra size increases, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I really don't know. None of my friends are pregnant, so I don't really know. And of course, obviously, I could just look it on the web, but I'm like, sorry. So she's trying to look for clothes for her first day. Since she doesn't have to wear a uniform anymore, she can just wear civilian clothes. Well, not civilian clothes, more like, you know what I mean. But she doesn't have anything that fits her anymore, so she goes off to buy more. Well, she goes to buy new clothes. She goes to the news station she's assigned to, where she meets her new commander, that I forgot his name. But I'm going to call him Commander Stern, because he's kind of a stern dick. And don't get me wrong, like, yeah, it's an official duty. It's not duty. It's a very serious profession. So I'm not surprised he's not that friendly. Graves not that friendly, but once you get to know the guy, he's a lovable teddy bear. Don't tell the actor I said that. Don't tell him I said that. But no, this guy's Stern. He's telling Lopez, look, you're the new girl. You're the new detective. You're gonna get everyone's coffee. You're gonna get lunch for everyone. You're gonna have to start building your credit up. And it's not a very great first impression, but, you know, we kind of get there when we get there. So she comes back with the coffee later on. He gives her first case, which is just to investigate this oh God, here we go. I can't pronounce the word. Burger. I want a burger. I want a burger so badly. A break-in. Okay, she has to investigate a break-in and a morgue, because the only thing that's suspicious is that nothing was stolen besides the embalming fluid, which I think is what to make. I don't know. I think about funeral terms. So she goes to the funeral home to investigate. Seems like everything's kind of like procedural, like nothing really bad happened here. It's just like a weird break-in. But before she's able to kind of write that off, she goes into the actual incinerator, burning room. I don't know what they call it in funerals, to incinerate the body. where she smells it being used, and they open it, and it turns out, yeah, there was a body that was recently burned there. So then they go off to, what was it? Yeah, so she goes back to report it. She gets her CSU unit to go in and kind of take care of it. Also, that would have been a great. Actually, no, I was trying to remember, like, they could have definitely brought back Alan Tudyk's character in this one, but I'm like, no, he's a cleanup. He's a crime scene cleaner, not an investigator. So I'm like, never mind. Again, I know COVID and everything, but, like, bring back Alan Tudyk. Come on, ABC. Come on. Anyway, so she goes back. She reports everything, but her commander's not happy with it because he was kind of hoping it was just going to be a nice, simple. It's a slap on the wrist. Nothing's wrong here. Let's just write it off. There you go. Don't look much into it. But of course, obviously, knowing Lopez, she's not one to give up. So she goes to investigate this on her own. Back in her house, another Wesley scene. Sad to say, Wesley's kind of just shoehorned into the storyline just for the sake of, like, I mean, of course, he's a supportive fiance. He wants to help. I get all that, but it's just kind of weird that he's just inserted here. He doesn't even have any lawyering to do. And of course, obviously, I know, like, we already have enough storylines as is. We can't add in a fifth one, but I'm just saying. Lopez tries to look over the case, and then she finds this discrepancy. So then she goes back to the station to interview this former employee with a weird, like, white paper on the ground at the interrogation room, which I initially thought was like, was that a COVID-19 6 feet apart marker that they forgot to remove? That's what I honestly thought for, like, the first few seconds. And then, no, it turns out she was just trying to get him his boot imprint to match to one she found at the scene, which is a perfect match. Then he confesses like a canary. He admits that, hey, yeah, I've basically been hired to dispose of bodies with the incinerator from a gang that if I tell you guys any more, I will be dead. But they were able to get enough information to have enough to warrant an actual investigation, which the commander's like, you know what? You did a good job, Lopez. Good job. So I think that's the end of Lopez's storyline. So we're moving our way up the Daisy ladder. We're moving up. So we're out to Chen. So the running theme, at least at first, the running gag in the beginning of the episode was like Chen in these situations or in these moments of like, she needs to be a serious, focused cop. But I also need to find my car on duty. And Bradford's giving her smack about it. Even when they're on a call to remove a drunk guy from someone's car. Which, honest to God, that scene was like, damn, yeah, I know we've all been through a lot, but come on, you can't just, be a dick. So, but that scene was meant to kind of catapult them to where the car was actually located. So they find the car. It turns out a 17-year-old stole it because she's homeless. She doesn't have anywhere else to go. And of course, her excuse is like, the car was unlocked. Well, what were you expecting? And so, and then obviously she's kind of street smart. She knows how to fix it, so she fixed it for Chen. So they got the car back. They're starting to remove it. Chen asked her more about why is she homeless? Where's her family? It turns out her family passed away, so she's alone. She doesn't feel comfortable being anywhere besides on the streets, or at least in a car. So Chen, hearing that, decides not to pursue charges. And is actually considering trying to be involved in her life or trying to help her. And Bradford is giving her more, no, pardon my language, shit. It's like, oh, you got yourself a puppy. You just look at this youngling and you just want to help them. It's like a rookie's puppy. Which obviously she takes offense to because she's obviously just a nice human being. But, oh well, you know how Bradford is. So I believe, yeah, later on, the next morning, this was like a brief convergence with Chen and Wes's storylines, but Chen is getting a report that while she was dropped off at a social security place or somewhere for, I don't know what the location was for where you put homeless children, I forgot, sorry. She apparently left during the night, so she's not there anymore, so Chen's kind of figuring out what to do next for her. And then I believe she finds her. I don't believe we get another scene in between. I think we just cut to, yeah, do we? I think, yeah. So Chen finds her. She basically tells her the truth. Listen, I know you're never going to stay at those at the social services place, but you can't be on the streets. So my deal is I will give you my car to live in, if under the promise that you're going to be open to looking for a foster home, like a proper place to live in before you turn 18. So that's the deal. She accepts. Jesus Christ, Chen really just gave up her car to like a random kid. If that's not being a nice ass person, I don't know what is, to be honest with you. Because if I had a car that was probably my own, that I probably paid for with my own money, I would probably not give it up. No offense. Because it's my car. If you want to call me a dick, go ahead, but that's just me being honest, to be honest with you. I believe that's the end of Chen's storyline, to be honest. So we're going to move up to Wes and the new guy, Doug. I don't know. I like saying Doug. Like, I think there was I was thinking about the movie. If anyone watched it, I'm not surprised no one ever watched it because it was a bomb in the box office. The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. There's a character named Doug in the movie, and he has his own. He's gonna open up his own hotel named Doug. You should go see it. It's a funny movie, in my opinion. And he's like, I don't know why. Like when I was growing up watching that movie, I always said Doug, like Doug. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Sorry, Brandon. So where was I? Oh yeah, so picking up where I left off with the last mention, Doug and Wes are about to begin their cycle. It seems everything seems to be going good. Like they're being nice to each other. They got a good vibe going here. He's kind of being a little bit less rough than Diaz was to him. Well, no, not Diaz. Lopez. Sorry. So sorry about that. But I was thinking something else. So they're off to a good start. They get called in to help Nolan on another matter with a guy who broke into a SUV or a van or a car. I'll just say a car. And stole a backpack. They help to assist him. Initially, you kind of get like a little bit of hints, like even though like this was mostly on Nolan, like this was part of the Nolan storyline with Harper, but you get hints of like Doug's true character a little bit. You just get a little bit of a sense because he was like they're so typical, like they were recording, like trying to get some dirt on the police, and Doug was like, "Hey, you want me to help? You want me to get it?" It's like kind of indicated like Doug was going to get a little bit physical here, but he gets pulled away. Nolan kind of pushes him aside, like, "No, I got this. This is my thing. Don't worry. Go back to your storyline." So they get pulled away. They get called into like just investigating a report for a burglary. Oh my god, again, a home invasion because I cannot pronounce burger. Can't pronounce it, but anyway. They go off to get the details, get some to follow up on it. Doug's not focusing on the matter at hand because he's being a little bit of a, how do I say it nicely, he's getting too much on this kid's face. Because all that Wes wants to do is to help this family because they just came home from a long trip, out of town trip, and they just want to find out who broke into their house. It's simple as that, and Doug is... Okay, look, here's the thing. I want to interject some of my criminal justice knowledge. Yes, you should not rule out anyone as a suspect, yet you need to consider all avenues. But you have to be open to the fact that, hey, look, you have to take things like, you have to be neutral about it. You can't just go into any sort of situation, regardless of race, gender, sexuality. You can't go into any situation, whether that is a regular conversation in terms of this case, and just asking questions. You can't just go into it with a certain bias of like, he's part of a gang, and, you know, so it's got to be something gang related, meaning that we can get this guy on a gang related charge at some point, so we need to investigate something with the gangs. And it's like, well, not everyone is part of a gang. Like, I don't know LA at all, but I live in New York, so I'm very well aware we have certain gangs here. I'm very well aware of that. Believe me or not, every time sorry. I was adjusting my legs. Sorry. Anyway, proceeding onwards. I'm aware, yeah, like, if I wear a red bandana, because last year I used to wear bandanas all the time, but every time I wear a red bandana, people just stop me on the streets and like, hey, are you part of the Bloods? Are you part of like, the Bloods? And I'm like, no, I'm just wearing a red bandana. Like, I bought my bandana at a supermarket. Do I really look like a gang member just because I'm Hispanic? And to be honest, I understand, yeah, that's kind of like a thing, whether you have tattoos or you have like a certain gang related. I understand that, but you can't just assume someone of color or someone just of their gender or their or their race. You can't just assume that like, oh, immediately we gotta classify them in the gangs. Like, not everyone's into that life. I have seen that before firsthand. Not everyone's in it. You gotta be honest on that. So I think, at least for me, you gotta go into it like, be neutral. You don't have to be a saint, but you don't have to be a devil. That's how I approach things. And what Doug did in the scene was like, again, a shout out to Brandon for like showing that, sad to say, yeah, there are cops like that in the force, but we can't let, and that's the great thing about, like, pairing Wes with Doug, is that Wes is still the newbie. He's still pure to an extent. But he knows the right thing. He knows, like, because he comes from a generation, like, we have to be more socially conscious about it. We have to be, very neutral and be very open to the fact that, yeah, this kid was probably not even in a gang. And then later on, Doug chews him out because Wes, pushes him aside once he kind of has the feeling that, like, hey, Doug, you're kind of stepping into some things here, like, without any real, evidence. And Doug was chewing him out the next day because apparently so Doug asked the kid, hey, you got a tattoo? And he's like, I had this little dot on my thing. And he said, like, and Doug's like, hey, it's an old school tattoo for the 213 gang. I don't even know what that is. I'm too very young to know anything about that. But he says, like, yeah, this is part of a gang. And he's like, so the kid was part of a gang. So this crime was probably a gang related thing. So it's like, we should have explored that. You pushed me away and I'm pissed. So, and he kind of like switches his demeanor on Wes, like just basically like shoving a book in his chest, like, hey, look, read that book, because there are problems here in the city. You have to be open to the fact, like, everyone could be a gang member. But my issue with it is that, and of course anyone viewing the show, is that, hey, look, no, you can't do that. Not everyone is like that. I understand, like, yeah, people make mistakes, but you can't just automatically assume that everyone you meet in a certain color is going to be a certain thing, either a certain racial trope or a gang or anything like that. You can't just assume that, because that's not right. Because everyone's different. And we're going to have many more conversations about this as the rookie keeps covering this, but you can't just keep having those assumptions. So, but obviously Wes has suspicions and has some concerns. He talks to Bradford about it. And while Bradford's immediately, obviously, bats an eye about it, but Bradford's, his response is like, look, from what I know, Doug's a good guy. He's a good cop. So, but if you disagree with his, ethics, just learn from his learn what you want to know from him, and just ignore out everything else. Because again, he only has 24 days left on the cycle, of the rookie cycle. So he's going to move on. So just don't listen to what the bad things he's teaching you. Just learn about the good things. Which, again, I know it's not the solution, but it's something. So yeah, I think that's the end of Wes's storyline. So now we're going to get to the big one, Nolan and Harper. So as kind of minor punishment / they kind of have to do it after a big incident like the Armstrong thing. They're assigning cops to the community outreach program, which I know all about because I literally had a class about it in college. And for Nolan's like, this is a great way to get together with the community. We need to know what they're doing. We need to get more involved. And Harper's like, yeah, we're being punished. This is more to the punishment on top of everything that they dealt with the letters of reprimanding, with the Nolan's kind of like being sent back a month. This is more punishment for them to do after the whole the deceiving thing from the last week. So where did we go from here? Yeah, so they have the community outreach program in this community. No one is happy. They just like, oh, here we go again. More cops just sent to do publicity work. And here's the thing. This is such a great conversation to have. This is such a great moment because you get to see actually. Here's the thing. We know Nolan is the person, so we know Nolan's going to get involved and try to help out. But of course, obviously, especially in this certain community, they're going to be a little bit more hesitant. Well, not a little bit more, a lot more hesitant, because it's not their first rodeo of seeing rookies or cops in the neighborhood just trying to help out, because at the end of the day, they're either there to I forgot the name of the guy. I forgot the name. I literally had the name in my mind. So there's a recurring community member of the community who's not a fan of Nolan, not a fan of Harper, doesn't like the cops being there because everything Nolan tries to do, or anything anyone does, they always have like a backup thing, which obviously makes sense, but it's just circumstantial. Oh, I forgot his name. I forgot it. I had it in my mind. I literally had it like at the end of the episode. I was like, I'm gonna remember this, and then we just kept having this conversation, and I'm like, I forgot already. So, yeah, I forgot what the hell I was. Yeah. So okay, I'll just keep going forward with it. So, Nolan's off trying to be the goody cop as he always is, our lovable guy. He's trying to like pass out flyers, try to promote the community center, the community outreach center. No one's taking it. And Nolan witnesses a crime in action with some guy stealing a backpack from a car that he broke into. So he calls in Harper for backup. He calls in West and Doug for backup. They're on chase. They're on foot. Also, I forgot to mention Harper is also trying to impress her daughter for a special cultural food fair at her school. So she cooked up a ton of food, and she, no offense, stupidly put all the food while she's in a chase. I mean, why do you do that? Leave it in the fridge. You got immediately called in, just run in quickly, put it on the table, and then run back out. That's all you do. But no, she leaves it in there. They're all going. Wes comes in to back up. Nolan, including Wes, doing a pretty impressive parkour trick over a fence. They catch the dude. And then, of course, obviously, when I was like knowing the context of the situation, the storyline, as well as knowing how things are, I'm like, yeah, this isn't gonna end well. Like, you have 4 cops trying to get one thief. Sorry, I forgot the terminology for the crime. Yeah, so they catch him, but of course the recurring guy. I'm so sorry, I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. Like, I forgot his name. But he's taking a video of the situation, basically saying like, why are you arresting him? Why do you need 4 cops to arrest him? And again, it's all pure in this instance. It's purely coincidental because no one has to call it in, and it's just a coincidence that 2 other cops were nearby on a patrol, and then his partner was nearby, and then there was him. So it's purely coincidental. Because we know that it was a coincidental thing. So, but he's making more points. Like, why do you need 4 cops? Like, all you do is just arrest, but you don't tackle on the actual issue. And, and then there's Wes who's like giving him like an actual boiled down, detailed, quick answer. Like, listen, we know the problem, but we're not like that. We're just doing our jobs. He broke the law. We caught him in the act. He's going to get prosecuted because he's going to have to pay for that crime. You can just... And that's the thing that, I'm not gonna have this conversation right now. I'll save it for a little bit later. So they do that, but Nolan also notices that the park that they were arresting the guy in was blocked off. So Nolan decided to go to this other guy who was also in the first scene with the other dude. I know his name. His name is Hugo. I know that. So he talks to Hugo. Sorry. And they have a little funny exchange. It's like, this is Nolan building up his community context, building up like a relationship with someone. They have a shared history in construction because obviously, if you remember from the start of the show, Nolan was in construction before the show started. And, they're having this friendly exchange. So Nolan decides, like, look, can I borrow your bolt cutters to go get this lock off the park? Because the city officials gave him permission to open it up. As well as, Nolan would probably hook him up with some jobs because times are tough. And that's another thing that we also have to be aware of. Times are currently tough. And that's the thing. And he's a Hispanic construction worker. And believe me, I don't think I've told this on the show before or any of the shows, but 2 years ago, I had an issue with, like, this actual area like that I'm in right now. The entire ceiling above me, that was all destroyed. Me and my dad had to actually go look at a local Home Depot, our local Home Depot, to go find construction workers that that he can trust because we're Hispanic, so we have a fellow commodity in our fellow racial group. That's kind of the way me and my dad approach it. I know not everyone's different. We just go for a company, but that goes without saying. But I understand that. I definitely know that, and I definitely know the struggle. Not the actual struggle, but I understand the struggle. So they have the exchange. Nolan goes up to open up the park, and then our recurring guy comes in. It's like, yo, why'd you break the lock? because and obviously the follow up and a reasonable explanation is that I closed off the park because there was, the lights are broken. There are needles in the sand lot because from all the druggies around the area. So that place is no good at night, and we closed it because no one came to fix it. So we had to fix our problem, and you just open it back up again, which it makes sense because, I mean, that's the thing that's going on in communities and cities around the world right now. It's like, yeah, there's always those areas in the city that are not being helped out at all. It sucks, but it's true. And it could just be in the case of like the money's not there or just focuses somewhere else. Because the thing is, there's only a finite amount of time you can do it in, as well as there's only a limited amount of resources you have. So it sucks to say that there are some places that are still struggling with that, but that's kind of just how things are. And it sucks. And so, what was I going to say after that? So, Nolan hears to that. So, when we come back a little bit later, the next morning, Nolan goes in to kind of help fix the lights, kind of like give the park some life. The guy's conveniently jogging as well in the area. They have a talk, and it's a standard thing. Nolan fixes the lights. He's a good person. He's trying to fix the name of cops in this community. But this guy's like, well, okay, but these lights are just going to get destroyed again. They're going to be broken again. And Nolan's like, don't worry, we're going to put more patrols in the area. And the guy's like, well, then that means you guys are going to get more arrests because this community, sadly, is a easy place to go get easy arrests. So all you're going to do is put more of our people, more of our community members in jail. And that's all true. That's the thing. It's like, that's the thing. That's a conversation to have. Like, there's just more going on than just fixing lights. Because, and then when you think of a solution, there's another problem to that solution. It's like, and this guy says it best. Like, you're putting a bandage over a systematic issue. You're just putting a bandage on a big wound that's in our system. That's not going to fix it. Sure, you think you feel better about yourself, that you're helping it out, but eventually no one's going to leave. Harper's going to leave. They're going to shut down the program again. And that's true. Because they literally said themselves, like, yeah, they're going to leave once things are kind of stable. Because right now, their whole priority right now is to get the station, get the people to trust in the station again, and the police again after the whole Armstrong thing. They have to do it. That makes sense. But then once that's kind of restored, are they just going to leave? That's a possibility since they're going to have other duties to take care of. Because there's other issues to be had around the city. And that's kind of the sucky thing about it. Because they are right. So a little bit later on, Nolan and Harper are back at the community outreach. They're just talking about like what else could they do to kind of help out, considering the fact that there was a bunch of issues here, and everything Nolan thinks he knows what to do is not turning out to be going the way he thinks it is. And Harper gives him a pretty good piece of advice, like, you think you know what they need, but have you ever stopped to ask them what they need? Because that's a totally different other thing. So. But before they have this conversation further, Nolan gets a call from Hugo, who's kind of giving him code words like, hey, look, something's wrong in this area. This is not a legit place to be working in. And for his wording and, describing certain things, and from Harper's knowledge, it turns out he's part of building a meth lab, inadvertently. So now they got this lead on it. They're about to call in they're about to call in SWAT to go in and raid the place to kind of shut down this lab before they even start making anything. Only issues that Nolan, of course, obviously thinking about his ally. I'll just say, I don't really friend, but they might accidentally shoot the guy on site, Hugo and his fellow workers on site, because again, like, they don't know the situation. They might consider like, oh, you're part of the group, then we're gonna have to take you down too if you engage in us. So Nolan and Harper go along as well with the SWAT team to lead the way, which they do. They break down the lab. Jesus Christ, this is an obvious location for a lab. Like this path, there's a pathway. There's like, I was obviously thinking Breaking Bad type shit where it's like, let's put a super meth lab underneath an industrial laundromat. I was thinking like that. Like, no, this is just an open, like, military grade door. Of course, someone's going to assume it's a freaking meth lab. What was these people thinking? So they go in, they put on their mask. Harper just warns Nolan that, like, hey, look, if you breathe any of these gases, the mask that you have is only going to protect you for like 30 seconds. So If things go south, we gotta get the fuck out of here. So they go in, they engage with the gang. Nolan conveniently finds Hugo and some other construction workers who are sadly locked into the floor, so they're kind of being held as hostages. So they manage to free them, but as they're escaping, one of the ingredients, one of the chemicals gets exploded, so that starts to release a gas. So they only got 30 seconds to get the hell out of there. Nolan obviously stays behind to go get this last guy. They got him now, but then there's like a very slow pantering of like Nolan just like counting down. It's like, oh come on, you cannot expect me to believe no one's gonna die. Like no one literally survived being accused last week. I was no, and he's the star of the show. He wasn't gonna die. So they get the guy out. Everything's fine. They sadly leave a couple of gang members behind there who get stuck and presumably die in that freaking very closed off room. So, but no matter what, Hugo is all that matters. He's safe. He's safe and sound. And I believe from there, yeah, Harper has a conversation with the guy, with the recurring community guy. And it seems like they're kind of flirting a little bit. Like they're kind of like, they got some romantic vibes going on. But then again, I did say last season that Chen and Bradford were going to get it on, and I was completely wrong on that. So I'm like, I could be completely wrong on this too. But I'm just saying, I'm just pointing out what I'm saying. So, and the whole conversation boils down to Harper trying to convince this dude, hey, look, no one's a good guy. He really cares. So kind of give him a break. And the guy's like, you're probably right. Probably right. So, I don't know what else happens there. I think Nolan does something with the park. I don't remember exactly what happens after that. Even though I just watched the episode not that long ago, I already forgot what the hell. I know there's an interstitial scene. I know that, but I completely forgot about it. So, later that night, Chen comes into the community outreach to kind of help out with the tutoring, and they conveniently have they have the first students, which happens to be the recurring community guys' kids. They come in for some free tutoring, and the guy's like, look, I gave you a little bit of a rough time, but I could see you actually kind of care about this, so they go off to kind of, have their kids get studied. They go to help the kids in their studies, and Noah makes the agreement with the guy, considering the guy that doesn't believe in handouts. Like, I'm going to pay you for the tutoring. He's like, look, you pay me with what you think the community needs, and we'll give you the tutoring. So it's like a fair exchange. It's all happy. Like, I really hope the community stuff does get expanded upon later this season. I hope it's not just a one-episode thing and, we move on. I really hope we come back to this community somehow, because there's more issues to be had, so hopefully we'll come back to this community in later episodes. And, yeah, that was it for this week. So, I really enjoyed this episode. I think they did a solid job addressing what's going on in our world right now, addressing some of the social issues that's going on, the police issues that are going on, as well as keeping it in the same rookie fashion we know, and continuing the storyline in a much organic, natural way post everything that happened. So, kudos to them. I really enjoyed this episode. Again, shout out to all the actors for making this believable and making this feeling like an organic, natural conversation that we all need to have. And hopefully we'll have many more conversations of this to come in the coming weeks, as well as welcome, Brandon, to the cast. You're an amazing addition. Can't wait to see where your character Doug goes next. Hopefully, we'll see. I can't say either say or none. But in my opinion, I give this episode 2 thumbs up. Really enjoyed it. So let me know in the comments below. What did you think of episode 2 of season 3 of The Rookie? Let me know. I'm always open to conversation below. What do you think of Brandon Routh's character, of his inclusion in the cast? Want to season? Yeah. Okay, I think that's my point to go, because I'm already starting to lose my ways of talking. So I think that's going to do for me tonight, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's in the Tube, reviewing the Rookie Season 3 episode reviews. If you want to know what we're doing overall, What's in the Tube, besides our Rookie Season 3 episode reviews, well, we're not quite ready yet, because we're not there yet, but next week we should be able to start. But right now, if you only care about the Rookie Season 3, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with another episode review. I can't wait for this. I'm just happy the Rookie's back. That's being a professional aside. Well, professional. I'm very happy the show's back. I'm very happy to see more episodes. I'm very happy. Can't see. I was smiling a lot so much because I love talking about the Rookie. But again, if you only care about the Rookie Season 3, we'll be back next week, next Monday morning for the next episode review. But until then, if you're unaware again, this has been What's in the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more of What's in the Tube, please subscribe to ActionX on youtube.com/ActionX. I think we have that URL now, hopefully. Ring the bell for notifications when our next episode review is live, which is every Monday morning. As well as follow us on social media, Twitter. That's basically it. Follow us on Twitch if you want to follow on our gaming stream. We start this Sunday before the Rookie premiere, so that's going to be kind of our new thing for me personally, my work schedule. So I will be streaming from 8 to 10. Then I'll be watching the Rookie, recording this, uploading that for Monday morning. So I'm going to have no break. So, but I love doing it. I just love doing it. What else was I going to say? Yeah, like, favorite, share this review if you want to. It does help us out, gets us out there to other fellow members of the Rookie Nation who want to see someone talk about it on the weekly, which I am your guy. I am a reliable dude, which I wish people would understand that when I'm in relationships, if I ever was in a relationship. Anyway, with that being said, again, thank you so much for watching. So as for you, Rookie Nation, I'll see you all next week. Be good to each other. Stay safe out there, especially during these current time periods. Please be good to each other. And peace out.